So for about 1.5 years, both modern and legacy players have been pretty upset over the Snowland controversy. You see, so long as snow-covered basics are basically a free roll or superior to regular basics, there's no point in playing with your favorite lands, because if you want that competitive edge, you've got to be playing with the snow basics. And basically for now 1.5 years, the players have been crying, please, Wizards, please print Snow Hate. Print Snow Hate. And in WotC fashion, they dove further into the snow mechanic. Everyone, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and they probably could not hear us over the sound of the printing press printing millions of dollars of secret lair cards. Yes, the snow mechanic is coming back to Kaldheim. The leaks were true. We are seeing the snow mechanic come back. Here are the basic lands. Further jailing regular basic lands, so we've got, but not only that, I mean, they're going deeper here, people. Not only do we have snow plains, snow islands, snow swamps, snow mountains, snow forest, we've got dual lands. That's right, fetchable dual lands. They actually have the mountain plains. They have the land types on the land. So Alpine Meadow is basically like Sacred Foundry, or Sulphurous Mire is like a Blood Crypt, but they come into the battlefield tapped, but they are a snow land. So what this is really going to do is it's probably going to further help the snow strategies that already exist in the non-rotating formats. You know, it was a little bit more difficult without Arkham's Astrolabe to be playing your Icefang Quaddle. If you're trying to get those breeding pools so that you can cast your Uro while also having Mystic Sanctuary online later in the game, you know what, you just sort of have to dump the Icefang Quaddle snow strategy. But now, with dual lands in the mix, we only got to put like one or two of these things in your deck, and you're good to go on the first few turns. So when the Kaldheim Fest released these cards, I think maybe many people could smell a sewer. That's because basically, unanimously, all the modern and legacy players have shat themselves in the sight of this, and absolutely no snow hate to be seen whatsoever. And in fact, they're going even deeper into the mechanic. We got Frostbite here, 1 red, a snow instant. We're gonna be seeing snow instants and sorceries, all the snow stuff. Hell has frozen over. Frostbite deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, it deals 3 damage instead. So you get a benefit from playing your snow land. So now it's not only going to be the modern and legacy players terrorized by the snow mechanic, we can now add Pioneer and also Historic to that list. And you might be wondering, Nikachu, why are you so outraged like a user on Twitter? This isn't a big deal. Just play with your basic lands. But you see, at a competitive level, this is actually quite serious, because there is only upside to be playing with your snow-covered lands versus your favorite art basic land. And this is my favorite art. I absolutely love this card. I love the birds in the sky, the water, the waves, the jagged rock, the composition. It is my favorite island, but I haven't been able to play with it for about 1.5 years because of the direction of the snow mechanic and its influence on the modern metagame, and I think the legacy players can also agree. Strategically, we need to be playing with the snow-covered lands. Why? Because if you don't, you are bleeding information to your opponent from turn 1. You see, if I play with an island, a non-snow island on turn 1, my opponent immediately knows I don't have Icefang Quaddle in my deck, because if I did, I would only be playing with the snow islands. So that is 1 card less that they have to play around. My opponents can attack into me without fear, like a honey badger going after a beehive. If I present Basic Mountain, turn 1, my opponent automatically knows I can't have Skred in my deck. I'm not the Skred red archetype. That's 1 less card that they have to deal with. That's 1 less archetype, narrowing down the range of archetypes that I could be playing from turn 1. Same thing with Swamp. If you're playing a regular basic Swamp, means that you do not have Dead of Winter in your deck, a very common sweeper in the modern metagame. All non-snow creatures get -X until end of turn, where X is the number of snow permanents you control. Sure, blurt them all out, play as many creatures you want, it's no problem. My opponents won't play cautiously around sweepers so long as I've got these regular basics in front of me. Same thing with basic planes. You want to play basic planes? That means you don't have On Thin Ice in your deck. A 1 white aura, a snow enchantment, enchant a land you control. When it ETBs, exile target creature an opponent controls until On Thin Ice leaves the battlefield. And then there's the advantage of deception. You see, when you are playing with the widest range of archetypes, your opponent will make mistakes. They are going to play around the cards that you represent. So we have a Merfolk player playing turn 1 snow-covered island, and the opponent, assuming there are snow-like cards in that deck, the opponent got tricked, and on turn 2 they played Meddling Mage, naming the feared Iced Fang Quaddle. That's right. So by playing with snow basics, your opponents now have to play around the widest range of cards possible from turn 1. So for that reason, we've got to be playing with the snow-covered basics. And the cost, of course, is we don't get to be playing with our favorite arts. I haven't been able to play with this thing for like 1.5 years. So we have to be playing with the snow-covered basics. And it sucks because there's like, what, 30 years worth of basic land art, and you know, you've already chosen the one that speaks to you. This one's my favorite, absolutely. You might have basic lands that are foiled, signed, altered, but now you can't use it because you need to be, if you want that edge, if you want that competitive edge, you're not a pony, you're a stallion, all right? You're trying to win the race. You got to be playing with the snow-covered basic, all right? The stallions, they're there to win. The ponies, they sniff each other's butts and eat hay. They're not even actually trying to win the race. And yeah, I understand. The edge is small, but still, it's an edge. Your opponent screws up like once in every 50 matches. It's something that might mean that's one extra match that you win to help win the top 8, get into that top 8, give you a chance of winning the tournament. So the snow basics and dual lands were revealed during the Kaldheim Fest, and there was a Q&A afterwards, hosted by Blake Rasmussen, amongst others. And there was one person who asked a question about, is there going to be any snow hate? Is there going to be snow hate? Is there going to be a reason to not be playing with these snow lands at a competitive level? Is there going to be finally a cost? There is no cost to playing this land in Modern or Legacy. It acts like a basic land. If you play Blood Moon, it is still a snow-covered island. It is not affected. It is not a non-basic land, so you cannot wasteland this thing. You cannot hit it with Field of Ruin. There is no disadvantage. Play all the snow basics you want. It's all a free roll, just like some of those poker tournaments they hold at bars where you play for like 3 hours and you win a t-shirt. You didn't pay anything to get in, but there's a t-shirt waiting for you at the end. So at the Kaldheim Fest Q&A with Blake Rasmussen, a brave soul asked the question, is there going to be any snow hate? And fortunately, at the very least, Blake Rasmussen, I don't have the clip available to me. It was very short, but he did answer the question. And he said, spoiler season has just started. Wait to see how the snow mechanic develops. And for me, I could take that 2 ways. Now, first off, I genuinely believe that if Wizards of the Coast had absolutely nothing in the form of snow hate, they would have never even answered that question. They would just brush it off. There's a lot of questions. They don't have to answer that one. Just let it just keep going down in the Twitch chat. Just let it disappear. So just acknowledging the question makes me believe that snow hate is coming. However, is it going to be impactful enough in the Eternal formats? Maybe this is only going to be snow hate to deter people in both Historic and Pioneer formats that don't have things like Icefang Quaddle in them, that don't have cards like Dead of Winter. Will these cards be significant? Are they going to make an impact? Will the snow hate make the difference between snow-covered basic island and regular basic island? It could be a lot like how you have $3,000 a month in expenses, and then the government gives you a $600 check for the last 6 months, and you're like, well, this doesn't do shit at all. So I am hoping that this video does not age well, a lot like this leftover spaghetti at the back of my fridge that's been sitting there for weeks, and I can see it's getting green within the Tupperware container, which deters me even further from even touching or dealing with it, making the situation worse for many weeks to come. And that we actually do see some snow hate in the coming weeks in the spoiler season, but I'm not going to hold my breath because it seems like Wizards of the Coast prefers to hear the sound of the printing press pushing out those secret layers instead of the community. opportunity. WotC made the power in '93, now they're making the money, and next they're gonna get the women. But remember what Frank told you, WotC, you gotta fly straight if you want to survive in this business. You gotta keep a low profile, because we all know how it ended for Scarface. One day you're living life like a millionaire, and the next day you're high out of your mind on cardboard crack, and then you shoot your best friend, and then the TCG competitor comes over to your house and kills your sister. So anyway, this has been Nikachu, Merfolk Master, talking about the return of the snow mechanic in Kaldheim.